Hello everyone and welcome to my TED Talk. My name is Joseph Comparet and I would like to share with you a bit about my honors project. It's changed a bit since its original incarnation, which was about the finances of the church, but some world events happened and it prevented me from going to church for a little while to research the topic, and I was working on this on my own time and decided this is probably a worthwhile thing to make my full project, and so I continued on with that. And so let me tell you a bit about my experience of trying to make a profit with the Steam marketplace. Is anyone familiar with Steam? I can't see your responses, so I'm going to explain a bit of it myself. Steam in this context is the world's largest video game distribution platform, meaning that on your personal computers you can download this application to launch and play digital games from. It's most well known for its storefront, which offers games at incredible discounts at certain times in the year. That's certainly how I got acquainted with it back in 2014. But Valve Corporation developed this application back in 2003 as a way to sell some of its games, and which include Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which have massive economies related to its commodities, which are going to be generally ignored for this specific project because it's very complex. This is complex enough and has the even greater chance for losses and things to go wrong with it. Plus, it's a massive time sink, and I did not have very much time to play even the games that I used for this project. In addition, beyond just the storefront of launching games, it has, well, there's a social media aspect. It's where I use primarily to converse with one of our previous honors friends. And for the purposes of this presentation, it has also a community marketplace where you can buy and sell commodities related to the video games that you play. It is using the Steam market that I wanted to try and make a profit with arbitrage. But then I looked up the definition of arbitrage, and it is the simultaneous buying and selling of commodities in different markets to try and take advantage of differing prices on the same asset. And that's not exactly what I'm doing here. More accurately, I'm trying to, on the same market, the Steam market, try and take advantage of price margins between the convertible commodities that Steam has for sale on its market. But arbitrage is a really cool word, so I'm sticking with it. As for the commodities available on Steam, primarily at the bottom you see there are trading cards, both the normal and foil variants, as well as the booster packs containing these trading cards, 3 per pack. And then if you have a complete set of trading cards per game, you can craft them into badges, which yield the commodities of emoticons and backgrounds. And I wanted to do this primarily with the avenue of converting the Steam Marketplace unique currency of gems, which you can buy and sell in increments of 1,000. And that's what I'm calling arbitrage. There are certainly some limitations unique to the Steam Marketplace that have been bothersome throughout this entire process. For instance, for the convenience of using the Steam Marketplace on your own, there are fees associated with every transaction that can eat up a large percentage of your potential profit. And so, keeping that in mind, there's the chart of showing the fees associated with every increment up to $1. You can, of course, sell up to $2,000, but it's about 12% of a fee at that point. There's also, since 2018, a hold on every trade item, so you have to wait 1 week before you can actually resell any item that you've bought, which puts a damper on the simultaneous part of the arbitrage. There is also, as I've gleaned from a convenient survey of a few people on campus, not a lot of people that actually use the Steam Marketplace. Steam has a lot of users, but not many use the marketplace, and it's about 20% of the people that actually had Steam had ever used the marketplace of the people that I interviewed. And the other limitation that some people might not be desiring of is all of the funds that you get from selling are confined to Steam unless you start trying to sell things onto third-party platforms, which has its own risks and downsides that I did not want to explore for this project. So what did I do for this project? Splitting things into two phases here. I started on January 19th trying to intelligently figure out the Steam market. I started with 6 cents in my wallet, 117 games that had trading cards associated with them, and I hope to make a profit based on that. So I started with math. I made an Excel sheet about the average price per card of each booster pack, and it's just an absolute mess, but I understand what it says to try and figure out what games might be actually profitable to do this on. There weren't a lot of them, but that was good to know. And I also had a limitation on how much I could possibly lose at that point, since I started at 6 cents, so everything could have been profit from there. It was slow going during phase one, but I was doing a good job. There were definitely some mistakes that I made along the way, though. For instance, I wasted a lot of time trying to confine all of my research to the Steam application. Then I learned about the Steam card exchange that condenses all of the trading card commodity information by game onto a nice, concise website, and I used it a lot during phase two. I got involved with a literally useless commodity from Subnautica that is only used for buying and selling, and I bought it the wrong time. I made an honest mistake buying several of these backgrounds, trying to convert them into gems, but apparently backgrounds that are earned do not convert to gems, while all backgrounds that are received do. And I also tried to get EA Play to get a bunch more games at once to market on, since it was only 99 cents. And that's great. I can get the trading cards and then sell them off. That would be wonderful. But apparently, while they originally had trading cards available, they no longer support trading cards, so that was a waste of money, and it's since expired and I did nothing with it. So, moving on to phase two, on March 4th I decided things were going a bit too slow and I needed to buy someone a birthday present anyway, so I added some Steam funds to my account and started exploring a bit more of the available commodities. For instance, I started buying some booster packs from different games that I would split apart into trading cards and then sell for more than the booster pack cost after fees. And I also took a bit of a risk by trying to convert trading cards into badges and selling off the commodities associated with those, the emoticons and backgrounds. And that got me into a bit of trouble that I'll explore later, but it was also what brought me back out of a bit of a deficit. One of those nice backgrounds is here. I should probably also outline some benchmarks for success on this project. The first one is an easy one, ideally. Let's just make a profit. Even just a penny, that's fine. Benchmark number two is cover the cost of one of the games, which I'd already considered a sunk cost, but it seemed like a good margin, and I set that at 46 cents for a reason I'll explore later. Third was buy a new game, which I did with EA Play, but that was a bit of a bust, but that cost 106, and I did it completely with what was profit at the time. Benchmark 4 was one that I haven't technically reached yet, and that's cover the entry fee for Steam. It seems to actually activate your account and you need to put a minimum balance of $5 or buy a game of $5 or more onto the account. So that seemed like a good next step. And for number 5, I decided that should be to cover the cost of the Humongous Entertainment games, which are a big important part of this project. And then I told you I'd tell you how much everything cost me so far, and that was the ethereal benchmark of cover everything. It's over 6 years. There's been about $600 put onto the account. It was mostly gifts. I promise it's not that bad. Anyway, Humongous Entertainment. They made educational yet entertaining games, mostly for children, between 1992 and 2006, after which they went defunct. But since then, their assets have been bought by a company called Tomo Inc. that's tried to revitalize things and put their stuff up for sale again. And that pertains to benchmarks 2 and 4, how I got those numbers. And so there is the Humongous Entertainment bundle of all 35 games they ever made. Well, not all of them, because they also worked on Moon-Based Commander, which is kind of fun, and I included that within the Humongous brand. Usually this whole bundle is $100, and in April 2019, Humble Bundle had it for sale for 14, so I bought it then, and it's just been sitting in my inventory for nostalgic purposes. But upon looking into this project, there were 9 games that had trading cards associated with them, and all of them, when I started, had an average sell price of 10 cents per card, which is quite impressive. And over the course of this entire project, every gem that I bought, which is roughly 38 cents per 1,000, I put towards Humongous Entertainment games. And I bought 34 of those, doing great. And overall, every bit of Humongous Entertainment accounted for about 60% of all my sales and 73% of my purchases. As you can see, the purchases is larger than the sales there, and that's a bit of a problem I'll get to in a second. Let's first talk about some of the big successes of this project. And as of April 4th, all the numbers will be based on that date from here on out. I managed to sell 186 items, including 178 trading cards, 2 emoticons, 3 backgrounds, and 2 of those stupid postcards, and bought 118 different things. There's 34 sacks of gems, 45 trading cards, 25 booster packs, 13 backgrounds, and an emoticon that I thought was funny at the time. I sold it though for a profit. We're good. As for the greatest successes, the most profitable card was not Putt Putt, but from one of his games, Kenya the Lion Cub. I sold 5 of those for a combined $1.33 after tax, which is very impressive. After that, I sold a single one of these backgrounds that's on the screen right now, called Moon-Based Commander Purple Nebula. It sells really well, and it's common. There's a lot of weird stuff about Moon-Based Commander, but it's a really cool background. But the most valuable thing that I've come into contact with, I actually have not sold yet, and that's because I could sell it and get 12.18 right now, or I could wait and hold on to it a bit, because the last time this thing sold was for $125. So I'm going to hold out for a bit. There is one more mistake that changed the entire outcome of this project that I discovered while making this presentation, an absolute rookie mistake. I credited something I should have debited, and that threw off the totals of this entire project and makes things look kind of bad now. So yeah, as of yesterday, I thought I was at a profit at the end of this, but it turns out I kind of failed, at least for right now, in terms of realized losses. I did have a pure profit of 119 at one point, and that after I started speculating into the commodities and making badges, turned into a loss of 481 really quick. But I brought things up from that at least, and currently I'm only at a loss of 72 cents, which I don't think is too bad, especially when you consider all of my remaining inventory and what's currently sitting for sale. I reduced it to a more fair market value, which may not be exactly what I'm trying to sell it for right now. but pretty much at liquidation prices. Everything that I've sold is approximately similar to what everything I still have in my inventory. So if I just sold everything off right now, I'd definitely be making a profit, but I'm not quite done with this project. So I thought I succeeded. Technically, in a realized sense, I have not yet, but I at least had a lot of fun with this project, and I got to play a few more games than I started with. I have a total of 214 that I have access to. I played 50 now, but that's like double what I'd played to begin with. The $600 is kind of wasted if I didn't actually play any of these games. But the project, I will definitely in the future try to diversify a bit more in the games that I play. Maybe I'll even go into the more speculative CSGO and Team Fortress, but that's a lot of time to invest that I just will not have anymore. At the very least, I can speculate into non-humongous entertainment games. And at the very least, I went up 3 Steam levels since I started this, so gaining somewhere at least. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you had some fun with it. I certainly did. And have a good night.